Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
A few
We're
minutes
taking
late.
over. It's Canadian Dave Builders Night.
It's a Canadian Dave Builders Night because nobody else here.
Yeah, we pushed Jeff out.
We pushed Jeff out. We took over the stream. We decided to say, "Hey, we want the Davids in town."
Yeah, it's the Canadian Dave Builders.
I don't know if anyone else is going to join.
But we're hoping that other people will join in.
That would be very nice because you don't want to hear me talk for 2 hours.
And I don't want to hear my French accent for too long either. So,
we can go around the room.
Yes, of
There's
course.
me.
Yes,
and then there's Dave. There's the room.
For now.
Jeff usually runs this. He is on vacation this week, and he might stop in a little bit to say hi. Hello, Mr. Blue. How are you? Everybody's waving and saying hi. So,
hey, Blue.
I don't have any announcements beyond the fact that I've never done this before. Hosted a show, and I'm sure.
Thank you for doing this, Dave.
Oh, it was absolutely. I warned Jeff that when he asked, I said, "Hey, I'll do it."
I'll be the tech guy.
I can log in. I can start the stream, and I've already screwed that up because I was already 3 minutes late.
Jeff probably is going, "Where are they?
Where are they? They haven't started yet. They haven't started yet." So welcome to the stream. Jeff usually does a very good job at this, and he introduces everybody. So in the stream here, oh, this is good. I can do this. So I will try to do my best and forgive all the, as the French would say, forgive all the faux pas, because there's going to be a few. And it's entirely on me. So that's perfectly fine. So let's start with Dave. Dave can tell us what's going on. Let me just see if I can get this thing over here. Again, we'll go there. And I'm going to make Dave full screen. And Dave can talk.
Hey, I'm
there
full screen. Oh, hey, guys. Haven't been doing... Oh, Rick's here.
Yeah, Jeff called. He said we're closing it down. There's too many Daves.
Too much Dave, not enough
Too much
Rick.
Dave. Not enough Rick.
It was good that you're here, Rick, because it's going to be the Dave and Dave show.
So, no, I haven't been doing a lot Lego related lately. Been a lot busy at work, so haven't been doing much. But I'm happy to be here, and I'm responsible for the news tonight. So I have some news, and I have some new bricks actually to show you guys.
I actually told David that he had to do the news thing. Actually, I didn't. He volunteered himself.
And I intentionally didn't look at the news, so I'll be learning something tonight.
Well, I don't think you'll be learning much because there's not much. It's been a
really
slow news week. So
slow news week.
Yep.
But my one bit of news before we go over to Rick's screen is I actually watched Lego Masters last night, or was it last night?
Go, Dave.
The second episode I've seen, and I liked it because there was a lot of technical.
And it was on after a hiatus of like 2 weeks, so kudos to you, Dave.
And then we'll go over to Rick, and he can tell us about his day.
My day, whole lot of nothing.
I like
no,
those.
I just
those days are fun days.
I'm updating my inventories. That's all. Taking my pictures of sets and updating all my Excel and other logging systems I use to track all my stuff. And
so do you just use Excel or do you use online?
Oh, no, I got a bunch of stuff. I use snups.com so I can have it both on my phone and on the web as a visual inventory.
Right.
Each item I can have like 12 photos, and it's usually more than enough for anything I want to do. And then, of course, the Excel sheets, and then I like to post it to my personal Facebook page, just because it's something I'll show off to people sometimes. Like they won't be into all the other stuff, but everyone's got Facebook, so there's and Instagram. I guess I do that too, right? So wherever I can spread the love, the Lego love.
That works.
Yep.
And Rick, did you get your August 1st purchases?
Okay. I did and I didn't, but I got an awesome story. But you'll have to tune in Friday night because I went full Karen on FedEx when I went to the FedEx depot, and it wasn't their fault. It was Lego's fault. But there's a really good story. I promise.
Oh, okay. We're gonna have to tune in.
Yeah. So I'm saving that.
I got my pre-order of the Bad Batch shuttle. Actually.
Yeah.
Because I had pre-ordered and it finally got here.
I was so happy to finally get it.
I haven't built it yet, so it's still in the box. So
it doesn't look bad. I know there's a lot of criticism about it. I mean, no matter what, it's not minifig scale, so I'm never going to be totally happy. But there's a lot of potential here.
I just feel it's a little too small. I don't mind I don't mind if it's not minifig scale or totally to scale, but this one is like a little too short and a little too small for my personal taste. I actually bought it for the figs, and I totally plan to build it, but I totally plan to mock the hell out of it. And
yes. And I'm looking at the color scheme there. I mean, I see a lot of people chasing that set to part it down. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, the figures are going to be great. People will be pawning them off and making their money back with that. But that's going to be great for adding to our parts, our bulk for sure.
Yeah, but I don't get why they went with that color scheme, because if you look at the show, the shuttle is actually not in those colors. The shuttle looks like more to be like either dark gray, or it doesn't look to be like bluish or sand blue.
I figure one of two things happened. Some original photography that was given to them to develop from was off, or they just made a decision, you know what, this is what we have a lot of parts in our own inventory, and the set would clear up a lot of stuff. So maybe the truth is somewhere in between.
Probably.
I can go upstairs and turn the TV on, and I can see.
So, hello, Mr. Blue. I'm going to pay attention to that for a second because I remember Jeff's doing this stuff. Mr. Blue's here. Seth Bland is here. Thank you, Mr. Seth. Thank you, Seth. I can speak properly. Brick Bunnies is here. It's always good to see.
Cool.
Yes, we hid Jeff. We said to start that. Wait, there we go. We wanted to take over the show, the Dave and Dave show, but then Rick joined, so it's better.
So it's not Canadian Dave Builders, it's Canadian Brick Builders again.
And now I'm gonna put him on the spot here. I'm gonna put him over here. I'm gonna put him about, and I'm gonna ask, hey Josh, what did you do this week?
Play video games.
So that was your week.
Yeah.
Were there at least Lego video games?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Did you do anything Lego-ish this week?
Yes.
What did you do Lego-ish this week?
I built
Some Bionicles?
Yeah, Bionicles.
He did some Bionicles today.
Is that Lego?
Oh no.
We have now incensed all the Bionicle fans out there in the world.
Yeah.
Made my Lego, so
I had to. Come on, guys.
That's right. You can't leave that one hanging.
No.
And it's honestly very odd how much Bionicle I actually have in this collection, considering I never bought
awesome.
a set myself. So,
yeah, but you get loads of them in used
and
lots.
Yeah.
Actually, so it's
Rick,
pretty normal.
Rick,
it's pretty, considering you just buy used lots, it's
that's all I do.
that you would get a lot of Bionicle parts.
Well, Rick was talking about tracking things on Facebook and Excel spreadsheets. I used to keep track of the sets that I owned on LugNet because you could actually enter on LugNet the sets that you had. And I think I stopped updating that basically when people left LugNet. So I actually have no idea.
And
And again,
LugNet started not working again.
I still go on LugNet just to search up things. And I always post the monthly dinners for Ontario, at least Toronto, before COVID. I haven't posted a year and a half. But I'll be posting again as soon as all the waves are over and everybody's healthy, and I'll be having dinner again. I'll be posting on LugNet. But I did find I found it to be very intuitive for new sets to hey, LugNet can tell me what I have. But as soon as I started getting to the used market, which is where 90% of the stuff behind me came from, LugNet's useless.
Yeah.
Most things are useless for tracking what I have behind me, besides Excel. So
Actually, Bricklink.
yeah, Bricklink. Then I'd have to inventory it all and blah blah blah. Yeah.
Well,
I know
you
some people who just
you
have a
could- you-
Bricklink store just to inventory their bricks.
I
Well,
should
you
try
can
that.
still inventory on Brickset also.
I don't go to Brickset at all. I go to Bricklink.
Because
Actually,
Brickset, because if you log into Brickset, you can actually tell when you're browsing the sets. You can actually tell LugNet that you own that set, and if you own that set, you can tell not LugNet but Brickset. You can tell them how many copies do you actually have, and
Right.
you can also browse minifigs and parts and add them to your inventory. So I know a lot of people. I know at least for my sets, I use a Brickset to inventory my new set. So every time I buy a set, I go on, or maybe every 2 months or 3 months, I go on Brickset and just log in all the sets that I got lately. So it's pretty intuitive because Brickset, like, once you inventory all your sets and parts, Brickset can actually tell you how many pieces you have, how many minifigs you have,
right.
what's the value of the current value of your sets are, and etc.
That's what LugNet didn't do is the value, of course. They didn't keep track of the value of the sets, obviously.
Well, Brickset does that, but there's quite a few sets that they don't have value for. So you might, and well, at least they tell you we did an inventory. We have value for 900 sets out of 1,000 that you have, and here's the not the current value, but the retail value of your sets is this amount. So, and you have, according to our inventory, you have that amount of brick. So, like I said, Brickset is a good alternative if you want to keep track of your collection.
It's funny. I rarely update my Brickset set lists. Mostly because it's not just Lego for me, right? It's
everything else.
Omega and the other one. So it's like, okay, I can have these dedicated Lego only, or I can just do stuff that tracks everything. And I keep meaning to go back to Brickset and update it, but every time I do, I find, I'm 2 months behind, I'm 3 months behind. So what's not in there? And then it's a whole bunch of work just to figure out what is not in there.
I actually go. Usually, I go by year. I log in and I browse by year, and by browsing by year, you can say, "Oh yeah, I got that one lately." The Brickset actually tells you what you actually own and what you actually don't own, so you can just. Like I said, I browse along like. Because I usually don't buy the latest release. I buy when they're about to be discontinued.
Yeah.
So lately I've been browsing, like I start like 2019. I browse all the sets and I got that one. I got that one lately. And then 2020 and 2021. So it's very, and I find it that it's very easy to use.
Very nice. Blue. I when Lugnet, because of whoever remembers back in the day, I was a mildly prolific poster. But when Lugnet started disappearing, I went over to Bricklink, Brick Bay.
Brick Bay.
Brick Bay.
Brick Bay. Now you're showing that you're vintage.
Yeah, I'm showing how but then I started ghosting their forums too. Like I just started trolling everybody in their forums too, and I
never knew you trolled.
Well, I wasn't a troll, but I love posting.
Troll, then
but
you can't say you're a troll.
But I love posting on Bricklink on their forums, and occasionally, about once every other week, I'll log back into Bricklink and just catch up in the forums and see the regulars that post a lot. I actually had a Bricklink store for a minute. I was trying to sell monorail track that were coated with copper, so you could do the powered monorails that I was building at the time. And but then I decided to keep them all for myself, so it didn't matter. Because you'll never get them back.
That's a good short lifespan for.
Well, I just say you'll never get them back, right? You're never going to get monorail again. It's like it's such a commodity, the original monorail, and yes, 4D Bricks released their stuff, which is great, and then they released it as a public service to everybody, whoever can print it, which is kind of neat. But you're not going to get the originals again, and Lego's never going to bring it back again. So it's like I do keep on meaning though. Brandon brought it to his show, but people have been doing this for a long time. Is the brick built monorail track? That's two.
Yes, Marc-André Caron actually did
all those guys
build one in Quebec, and
just gorgeous.
Amazing.
Just gorgeous with the switchable tracks and all that stuff, and the curves and the ramps and all that stuff. The second Brandon brought his to a Brickfat years ago, I said, I want to try that. I haven't gotten to it yet. But it is something that's it's like out of the whole list of things I want to build out of Lego, that's up there. I just haven't had time. So.
How do we fix that ship that I destroyed?
Which ship?
The cargo ship.
Oh, the Maersk ship. We have to fix that too. The original.
Kind of destroyed the Maersk.
I will say
you can rebuild it.
Yes.
So having a kid is a whole new experience. He's much better now, but okay. So I'm going to set the scene.
I messed up his sorting.
Brickfat 2011. He's 2 years old. 2011, 2012. My space tower at that point was not very much modular, and it was basically the entire center building. The landing pads came up, but the entire center building is about 5 feet tall. Wait, and I had a cardboard wardrobe box that I got from my moving company friend, and I had it in there, and it's sitting on a desk right here, and it's right beside the desk, in the box. And he's all of 2 or 3 years old, and he's dancing on top of the desk. I'm building whatever. And I'm not really paying too much attention to him. And he's dancing. He's goofing around like all 3-year-old boys do. And he falls straight into the box. Falls. Basically, I won't say head first, but basically he jumped into the box. And so my tower went from 4.5 feet tall down to about 6 inches tall in half a second. The entire tower. And just in case whoever's watching, and I'm not going to bore everybody, but this is my tower. Right.
Wow.
So it's a little bit. And it's 5. This one's 5.5 feet. But anyway, so and my wife goes, "Oh no, your tower's broken." I said, "Forget the tower. It's Lego. I can rebuild it."
I feel like you just said that, but
let's
I'm pretty
make
sure
he's okay.
Because you make up stuff when I am getting hurt.
On his back, he had like all the scratches from the Lego.
Oh,
yeah. And then I built that thing modular after that, so you could take it apart.
Good move, Dave.
You know,
you doing shows? Build modular.
Build modular.
Yeah.
Wardrobe boxes aren't good for shipping.
No.
So we have a few stories.
So that was your display at Brickfat.
Yeah, this picture itself was taken at the Family Fun Fest a bunch of years back, because there was basically a white background, and my wife took the picture and did the photoshopping, and then sent it off to the printers to get printed. And the Family Fun Fest only had basically the tower and like a little 2x3 foot layout around it.
Right.
But the Brickfats that David and I did together, that was 10 feet by, well, mine was 10 by 10, and Dave's was another 15 feet past that. So I think it was 10 by 25. Our layout altogether was 10 by 25. So
And you displayed it at the last Brickfat?
yeah,
At the final one?
every
Well,
Brickfat
Dave did,
in
but
Toronto
I
I
wasn't
was
there.
at.
Okay.
Yeah, but now Brickfat's done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel that.
We all miss it.
We miss Brickfat.
I just miss going places.
Yeah, I miss going places, dude.
We all do.
Everybody does, Josh. Everybody does.
Hey, there's a toy con on Sunday in Burlington.
I called them once, 3 or 4 years back.
Oh yeah?
So there was the guy, I can't remember his name though. It's somebody nice guy. I liked him. He was doing the Mississauga ones, the not the Toy Train and Doll Show, where he has either the wrestlers as guest appearances, but all the vendors, and it was just vendors and a guest star from whatever Teen Titans or whatever signing autographs for the weekend. And I called him up once and I said, "Hey, dude, I got this layout. Can I display it at your show?" And he says, "Well, I don't have exhibitors." Because I'm coming from the old school where shows, Toy Train and Doll shows usually have exhibitors and vendors.
Yeah.
And this was
Because you
straight,
want to bring people in.
right. So he had straight vendors and guest appearances by whoever. And he says, "Well, let's try it." So I went to Mississauga in January 3 or 4 years ago, and I liked it.
Oops.
He put me right out front at the entrance, which was really nice as you walk in. And I did it with him after that. And then and so I did 2 shows with him. I called him for a third one. He says, "Oh, well, I might not have room for you." Well, no, I just don't care. Right. Like if you don't have room for me, oh, I'll put you in the far corner. No, I'm not interested. I'm doing this for free.
Yeah.
You can put in your advertising if you want. I don't care. We used to do the Toy Train and Doll Show in Toronto and the Hobby Show in Toronto. That's where Alan Bedford got us into the Hobby Show way back in the day, where I met a whole bunch of people, and I loved it because it's not a brick con, but it was you can walk around and you can see all the guys selling Luke Skywalkers from 1982, Kenners and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And the train guys were there, and the mechano guys were there, and even the boat guys had a pond set up out back.
Yeah, boats.
Just absolutely fantastic for a weekend, right?
I'm waiting for the big Lancaster show to come back because they had the 2 huge buildings on their property,
right?
And one was almost entirely dedicated to trains and to the exo scale, and then you had the other building that had all the rest of the toys that I was into. But I still wanted to visit both because I love seeing all the trains set up and all the models and dioramas.
It's the best part of the show. Like the exhibitors bring the people in.
Yeah.
And if you're running a show, then you don't understand that. I can't talk to you.
Yeah.
So,
I don't understand.
Well, actually, over here, we've been participating in the Montreal Toy Con from since like more than 10 years ago. So every year, and there's not a lot of exhibitors out there on the show. It's mostly vendors, probably as you mentioned, Dave. But I think it was back in 2008 or 2009. I contacted the guy because I saw the advertisement on the internet saying where we're organizing a Montreal Toy Con, and I said, "Well, we're exhibiting toys. We should be there." So I contacted the guy, the organizer, by email saying, "Well, we're a Lego club from Quebec. We can like showcase a few mocks in your event." He said, "Oh yeah, sure. I'm glad."
Excited.
I am very, very excited to be. And every time, because he does well, pre-COVID, the organizer used to do at least 2 shows per year, one in the spring and one in the fall season, and every time we have the same 5 tables right at the entrance, right at the entrance, and we're almost the only exhibitor there because he usually invites a few cosplayer over. That's the other part of the attraction, but we're every time I contact him, and he's actually restarting the shows. He hopefully October 17th, next October 17th, where he's doing a new show in Montreal, and I contacted him this week or the week before, and he said, "You're always welcome, Dave. Always glad to be." And of course, and usually it's a pretty nice event because here's Jeff. Hey,
Why
Jeff.
are you stalking us?
Hey,
We talked. We thought you weren't joining in. We took over your show.
Yep.
We're
Sorry,
gonna
Chanel.
call it Canadian Dave Builders.
With Rick.
with Rick,
And Jeff
With
can't hear
Rick.
us at all.
Dave, my
Wi-Fi's
brother
pretty good.
Dave, and Rick.
I can't actually hear you guys, just so you know.
Oh, there's Jeff.
Oh, there you go.
But your
That's
Wi-Fi
fine.
spotty there, Jeff. This is my brother Daryl, and this is my other brother Daryl.
Yeah. And now we got our thumbnail for the stream.
That's right. That's right. I like doing shows after Brickfat stopped, and I understand why I did stop, and I fully understand and appreciate. I started calling around. I said I worked with that guy in Mississauga for 2 shows, and then he just doesn't seem that interested to have me back. And that's fine. I did one in Ancaster, the Ancaster Toy Show, or whatever. That was fantastic. That's just down the street for me, at the Ancaster Fairgrounds. I really like that one. And then the Hamilton Steam Museum, which is just down the street. Like I pass it on the way to work.
Yeah, that thing's awesome.
It was built in 1834, and it's gorgeous. It's a beautiful steam museum. And every May they have this. Not the last 2 years, but they have the mechanical guys there. They have the boat guys there. Anybody who has a club or an organization in the Hamilton area that's kind of like that. And I heard about it, and I said, do you mind if I show up with this layout? And they said, absolutely. And it was a lot of fun. And then if you're there, you get to also have a tour of the museum, which and they have you can find it online. They have it's not even okay. See if it's not even O scale. It's rideable scale trains. I think the tracks are 8.5 inches wide, and the trains are either electric or steam, and you can sit on the cars, and they have a nice layout out back in the back 40 there, and you have all these old train guys that build these engines from scratch, like a steam engine from scratch, and he puts little pieces of coal in it, and it runs, and then you're sitting on the back, and you have the steam engine pulling you around. It's just a beautiful day, and you can have a picnic there, and blah blah blah, and then you actually check out the steam museum part itself, and they have these brass fittings, and it's built like 150 years ago, and they explained the big huge flywheels that were pumping water to the thing up the escarpment, and it's just like wow.
and they're gigantic.
Oh,
I think I had gone to the last one because I was following the TTC Transit Museum guy, and because I knew he was going to have his display there. So we went to Hamilton. It's like, so that was my first experience at the museum.
Okay.
And they also had 2 groups of kids who were doing science, like a science competition. They were building robots to do whatever, small scale stuff.
Right.
Not necessarily Lego, but whatever they're building was amazing. It was just so much fun to watch. Everyone had such a great time at that show.
It's a solid show.
Yeah.
Outside and inside. And there's enough to do for the day. And the trains are just great. And actually the flywheels on the pump house itself, they're like 50 feet diameter. They're cast iron, and they're just massive. And so the story goes, in order to show the kids how this thing worked in the 70s, they put a little electric motor with a gear on it to make the big, huge 50 foot diameter pump flywheels work. And the guy's telling me this. He goes, right now, if they fired up coal into the boilers, this thing would pump water, and the motor that they put in the 70s to make this thing spin died after a couple of years. I'm going, you're kidding, right? No. He says, right now this thing can work, but you just have to get all the fittings tested and blah, blah, blah. From the 1850, it would still work today if you turn it on, and anything they dropped in there since then will not work. So it's like, whatever.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous thing. And well, as far as the pump water halfway, and if anybody who doesn't know what the escarpment is watching the show, that's fine. It's a small mountain in their backyard. There's a pumping station up in Kenilworth. That's Kenilworth Cut. It's a big, huge reservoir where they're pumping the water from the lake up there in 1832 to stop the cholera epidemic that Hamilton was facing, because everybody's using the Johnny on the spot in their backyard, getting the water table all polluted. So they had to stop that. So they built this huge, beautiful, you just look at it and you can just tell the workmanship back in 1832, because you got the nice brass fittings and the black. It's a piece of art, and it works. So yeah, a little bit of history there. I might build it. I might build it on Lego scale.
That would be impressive.
Anyway, do we want to talk about the news there, David?
Yes.
Okay, let me just get you over here, and you can go there, and we'll put you. I guess
even if we don't have a lot of news, we do have a few things.
Let's do that. There we go.
So basically, what was announced the day after our last show was the 76,391 Harry Potter Hogwarts Icons Collector's Edition, which is basically new take on Edwidge.
Yeah.
I know that Lego already did a set with that bird, and now they're doing another. And it looks a little more accurate, personally. What do you guys think?
I always like Hedwig.
I'm not a Harry Potter guy, but it just looks so beautiful that, to me, it's a must buy. Just because it just looks so amazing, and I want it. And there's just so many little details there.
Yeah, the glasses,
and the letter or the certificate there. I want to know what it is they're doing. Is it a print? Is it stickers? I hope it's not stickers. I mean, can you imagine that? The world's largest Lego stickers,
especially at $350. You would hope that it's not stickers.
Yeah.
So that was the set that was announced. In other news today, happy 89th birthday to the Lego group.
Oh boy.
That was yesterday. So 89 years old.
So what are they going to do next year? For 90?
That's a big number.
Right? For 90, what are they going to do?
Well,
let's think about this for a sec. I'm going to be 65 when they turn 100.
Oh boy.
I just had to think about that for a sec.
But I think aren't they going to release the legend set that that everyone voted on Lego's ideas, either a space set or a castle set, or you guys don't remember that?
Didn't we all want Castle? No, we all wanted Bionicle, right?
That's what I was told. Bionicle's getting a short shift. I don't think so.
Yeah,
I don't think. Well, we're gonna. I think we're gonna know next year, because I think that's coming out next year.
I do find it a little bit odd that the Bionicle guys, basically in the short span of 20 years, I think the first Bionicle came out in 1999. I could be wrong, 2000 around there. That 20-year period for Bionicle, they went through all the same emotions that us classic fans been going through for the last 50 years. It was truncated. Why don't they release old sets? So yeah, Bionicle was that last year. What are you talking about?
Well, they actually did that, because they did
the legend.
They did the hero.
Oh, Heroes, right?
Hero Factory guy for a bit, and then they dropped the Hero Factory guy to bring back Bionicle, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
So shame on Bionicle fans.
I don't know.
They're not buying the new sets.
I have lots of it. I built a few, and it's cool. It's just not my style of building. So, but then again, the new Lego sets aren't my style of building either. I'm kind of stuck in the old school.
You're vintage, Dave.
Oh yeah, it's vintage again.
So that was actually the two parts of the news, and I actually got two new pieces. Whoa!
Oh.
So 2 new pieces were added. And both pieces, actually, you're not going to find them because they only come in the first Lego League Challenge set that was going to be released, I think, this year for the first Lego League. So, and there's no picture. So yeah. So we get a plate, a printed plate 4x4x2, number 17. It says Cargo Connect. And we get the Technic Angular Beam 4x6.
In orange.
That's actually in bright orange.
Bright orange.
Yeah. Actually not a common color.
No, I'm still waiting for them to release the rest of the 1x Technic bricks in that color so I can finish my Technic car.
So basically that's it for the news. So it was a slow news day. Slow news week. Actually.
Well, you know what we can do? Other YouTubers, they make up Lego news.
Oh, yeah.
And they get millions of views.
Yeah, they start rumors and stuff.
Yeah.
We just want a rumor. They're gonna bring back the Galaxy Explorer.
Oh, I got a question for you guys.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? I know it's all over eBay, and I see it in some of the Facebook groups. All of the minifigure helmets, let's say Darth Vader helmets, in all kinds of crazy colors when we've only ever had a black helmet released, and
Right.
other minifig parts and even weapons that we've never seen Lego release these things. So what do you think? That they're legit and they're just walking out the factories, or you think this is...
That's what I was told.
I've heard they were legit. I heard that they're actually
Test
you
sample.
see them in red. It's often mold testing.
Mold testing.
They're testing the Lego's testing the molds, and they're using red because you can see all the that's what they said. You can actually see more the details of the mold. And
we're seeing so much of it in various colors now.
And the thing is, 3D printers can basically make things almost perfect now. So it's like, whatever. I just have to say hi to Zoom and Brickham's Den. Hi, everybody.
Hey.
You can stop sharing my screen.
Oh, okay, we're done. Okay.
He needs to do some banking. Turn that off.
Yeah.
So yeah, I heard they were legit, but like you said, they've now, with 3D printing being more and more common and more accessible, who knows? Maybe you're getting a rip-off piece.
Because like now with high resolution UV printing, where it's coming out of the bath, there's no lines
there's
to
no
it.
lines, there's no layers.
The detail is so sharp, and it's getting so much more affordable.
I think for me it would be the marbleized bricks that you really can't produce secondhand or off market or off because you get those marbleized 2x4s. That would be hard to do in a 3D printer. So those have to be legit.
But I also heard that all those pieces that are actually legit and they do come out of the warehouses, they're not supposed to leave Lego premises because all Lego employees have like these
NDAs and all that crap.
Yeah, NDAs, and they're not supposed to.
They're risking their jobs for sure.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, but I also heard that while in Denmark it's a little more strict regarding these rules, there seem to be a little less strict, like I think it's in Czechoslovakia,
Hungary,
Yeah,
because it seems like a lot of this stuff. Because the reason I ask is I've bought some stuff over the last couple of years, and of course it's not something I can ever sell because I can't say with 100%.
You can't make sure it's authentic.
Yeah, so it's a nice oddity. They're unique, and it's something I can keep forever. But it's like I can't really, in good faith, sell it to someone because I can never say 100%. Even if I get 2 or 3 of something, it's like no, I just can't. But it seems like there's definitely places where it's happening more often, and we're seeing more and more of it. And before it was just like the one Vader helmet and the one little piece here, but now we're seeing complete minifigs. We're seeing Star Wars guns in every color. It's just getting ridiculous now, and I don't know what to make of it.
And there's a market, right?
There is a market.
Obviously, it's not a market for me, but there's a market out there for it.
Yeah.
And people who are collectors often go for it, and therefore it's always going to happen. Yeah. Like if guys getting like $500 for a minifig head, that's a one-off. They're going to pay $500 for it. So
yeah,
I am not that kind of collector. I know collectors who are like that have to have everything, including the bad molding ones.
Yeah,
and all the power to is. $100 can buy me a lot of classic space Lego.
Yeah,
I'll gladly take a hairdryer and melt any Lego for anybody, and sell it to them for $1,000.
Yeah, look, modern art. Here's a Escher with the melted clocks over the edge. There's a melted Lego brick over the edge.
Okay, that just reminded me. So I know in the last stream I had mentioned I bought, the Lili or Lepin fighter, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Okay, now the intention, after doing the original video and the comparisons and stuff, I'm going to do something with it. I'm not just going to smash it and do whatever.
No, something you want extraordinary.
Yeah, so I bought a heat gun from Amazon, and what I intend to do is I'm going to bend and melt and make some art out of it. I'm going to build the crash scene from the movie, where that TIE fighter is on the desert planet and Finn is walking away from it or whatever. And I actually had 2 strips of sheets of the styrofoam stuff you get from Home Depot, the blue stuff.
Yeah, the blue stuff.
And I was going to tack them together and make this, 2 base plate wide kind of deal. And then my daughter needed some for the art project for school before COVID. And it's like, and I've never gone back to it. And I just realized, like, I've got a sand from the Michael's Art Supply.
Yeah.
By the way, that's the dumbest place to ever buy anything if at full price. Stupid. Little jar of sand this big, like $9. Go down to the beach and take a Ziploc. Say, oh my goodness. Or you can go to Home Depot and buy sand, $5 for like 4 kilos of it or something.
My company makes it.
Oh, Michael's, they saw me coming. Granted, it's all I needed was that small volume, but yeah, I bought spray adhesive. I had the 2 sheets. I got the heat gun. I just got to go spend $8, get 2 more sheets of styrofoam. But I got to make sure I do that before the summer's over. I'm looking at
you want to do it outside. You don't want.
I'm looking at this one cabinet and seeing the real one beside the fake one is really bothering me. I'm looking under my monitor. It's like procrastination is my middle name.
Jeff's sister's here more than Jeff right now.
Yeah.
Hi, Yvonne.
I always get these big ideas Yvonne. And I don't follow up.
Well, that's the whole thing about our ideas, right? Like we could do an entire show listing the ideas over my life, your life that I want to build that, or I want to do that. I got this idea, and it never gets done.
Yeah, the list goes on and on. I have so many projects, but
I've got a 25% completed mock of my own design. I blew up the Lego Star Wars Sith Fury.
Right.
And I blew up photos of the in-game ship. And I mocked it out. I built the frame. At about, say, the 25% point of, say, the UCS Millennium Falcon. And it's all based on the one windscreen from the UCS original Vader's TIE Fighter, because that one piece was like $125 on its own. I came across an extra piece in a bulk lot. It's like, oh, what am I going to do with this great piece? I can't sell it. I mean, no one really wants to spend that kind of money on one piece. Well,
you would be surprised, Rick.
Well, maybe, but I figure I'm far better off to keep it and make something of it. And that's the basis of my whole design. And it's like, this is great, but I've never plated it. I've never done front wings or anything. I basically did the frame. I did the front windscreen, and I kind of had an idea of I could have maybe one area that would be almost minifig scale behind the windscreen for 5 characters, 5 figures. But beyond that, I probably couldn't fit too much more in there. So maybe it wouldn't be game world accurate, but it would definitely be
larger,
large, and it was bigger than my UCS Falcon. And what did I do? I put it in 4 bins and shoved it under the desk for 3 years.
Oh no!
And never, another incomplete idea. And
That's
the
what
worst part was, I'm like 90% complete on all the parts that I figure I needed. I bought all the little wedge plates, 3x2, and then like 6x3, and I've done all the legwork. It's just it's so lazy.
That's the actual building.
The actual building, yeah. That's why I'm always impressed when guys go forward on a project and actually finish or almost finish. Because is anything ever really finished when you mock? I don't know, but you always think there's that next thing you want to add to
Next thing, and it's just finding time, and then you got the wife and kids and work and everything else, and then and also all the other things that you want to build.
Yeah, all the list of projects that you already.
When I moved out on my own, I moved out of my dad's place when I was 19, and I moved in with a bunch of friends. But then I got my own apartment after that. One of the first things I did was I took all my 1x2 bricks, and I made a circle just by putting them together, layer. It takes about 200 bricks, 1x2s, to make a nice circle where you're not putting a lot of force on the bricks when you join them together at the other end. And I built it high enough to put a piece of plexiglass on top, and that was my coffee table in my living room for a long time.
Oh, nice.
Until I needed the 1x2s for a build. Anyway.
and then it exploded when you took that one piece off.
The whole thing. No? The thing is that when it sits there for a long time, bricks do kind of tend to warp after a while. Yeah. That's another story. The amount of bricks that I've broken in my life it'll make you cry. But so I take that thing apart, and this is back pre-internet. I'm thinking this is 1989, right? So I was like, and I meant to revisit that idea of the circles, and then I saw that stupid video last week of the guy, one of our master builders, who built that fleur-de-lis, not a fleur-de-lis, the triangle leaf thing with the white, the yellow and black 1x2 bricks. It was on YouTube, and somebody sent it to me, where he did the giant circle on the outside using 1x2s, and then he had the triangular, almost looks like a what's our Ontario trillium? Looks like
trillium leaf.
Yeah. And I'm going, son of a pop. It's like, I sort of had that idea, not his idea, because it looked really good. Mine never would have been looking that good, but it's like, I did this back in the 80s. It's like, and I was going to at some point do it again and put it on my YouTube channel, but never happened, and no, it never will.
No, it never will. Oh no,
that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, I think I definitely need to try, and I got to make that a goal, is
finish the projects.
Finish one project by the end of the summer.
One at a time.
One at a time. But I am the worst procrastinator. I took a picture of my desk the other day just because it's like, yeah, it's all fun and games. I buy stuff. I get stuff on sale. And some stuff I really want. Some I buy just because it was an oddity. And then what? It's like, my backlog is so big, mostly because of procrastination.
Yeah.
You know?
So I built these things a long time ago, about 6 months ago, which requires Lifelights from Rob Hendricks and a 2x8 electric plate that's cut into 4. So you can just, because I only need the 2x2. And these are my spotlights for the layout. So because when you turn off
the fact that you're willing to cut stuff,
are you kidding?
that speaks to me, because I don't know how many times where, because of some of the non-Lego builds and like some of the flaky stuff, it's like some of my solutions to making it better, or how about making it complete, because sometimes their stuff just doesn't work, means cutting a piece, getting a little, model nibbler, cutting. And I love this thing. The best tool for plastic I ever, and you just cut away and make a part that didn't exist.
That's what, because I like lighting up the layout, and that always seems to make a pop at the show. And
yeah, but you gotta, if you're doing a layout in a show, you gotta have either lighting or movement, and if you have
both,
both is like the best. If you want to draw attention to whatever you're building or whatever you're displaying, you gotta.
Well, every Lego show I've
one
been
or
to,
both is better.
every actual Lego show I've been to, I was at Brick World once and Brickfest years ago, and all the Brickfets that were in Toronto. There's always the lights out portion, right? And that's when you really see it. And light, most of the times when I tried to do lighting, I try to just build it in place without modifying anything. But when you're trying to light up a Galaxy Explorer, you have to drill holes.
Yeah.
You have to. There's no other way of getting around it. And
take out the
when
drum.
I did the layout, you like the building's nice and lit up, but the landing pads were not. Even though, again, people get mad at me because I drill holes in the base plates.
Ooh.
Oh,
Wait, in moon plates?
Are you kidding? Yeah. I can grab one right now.
Oh, wow.
Because
Dave goes that far.
Yeah, Dave goes
Dave's stuff.
Oh,
because there's a bunch of holes in it.
And so I'm not even going to try to find it. But I put the 1x1 round trans green and trans red bricks on there. On top of the light, so you don't see that there's holes drilled in it, but because they're lit up, and I put the Lifelights inside, so it lights up, right? And then you have to do the wiring underneath, and so, but that's fine with the little pips lit up on the actual landing pad, but then you can't see the spaceship because the spaceship's black, right? So I have to have spotlights shining down on the spaceship. So I've always. I try not to modify, but when you're doing something like this and I need to be able to connect it and disconnect it quickly, and there's no elegant solution besides using the 9-volt plates that they came out with a bunch of years back. And since I have a lot of them because that was when I was actively buying lots on the newspaper ads and going to people's garage sales, and that's what people had to sell. I have lots of 9-volt plates, like lots of them, so I can cut them up and not worry about it too much. Most people can't do that.
No.
Maybe and I get the purists who say you can't modify Lego at all. And I remember those discussions back in LugNet back in the day, where what's a purist? But then Rob Hendricks was on LugNet and he was a fan of the brick and he was one of us, and he comes up with those Lifelights kits, and I want to support him. And you can use Lifelights without drilling holes in your Lego. Absolutely, you can do that. But if you want it to look like a Galaxy Explorer lit up, you have to drill holes in a Galaxy Explorer. So I did. And I modified Monorail. I modified the engine so I don't have to put batteries in them and the powered rails. And David noticed that last time. A lot of people walk up to me at a show and say, monorails, if they know what monorail truck looks like, they don't come with copper. But my monorail track's copperized because I want to have the slot track experience, so I don't have to change batteries at a show. So that's why I still use my 9-volt train track. The train track. I will not go to the non-metallic ones because I don't want to change batteries at a show, and I want to just set it and forget it. And every time I did a show with batteries, whatever it was, I'm changing batteries all the time, or something happens and it doesn't work, and blah blah blah. So having the pickups and having it powered is just so much better, and having it lit up also so much better for a show, for display purposes only.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah, we should talk sometime, right?
Get you to pull out all. These are all the parts I've ruined.
I have a bag.
Because there's people go no.
I have a bag of parts that I've already pre-drilled holes.
I've got a few base plate to myself because, when I was doing some layouts and you're using 48 by 48 gray base plate and you want to match them with 32 by 32 landing plates or moon landing plates, you gotta have some 16 by 32s or so. I just went out. I went and cut some 48 by 48 base plates into 32 by 32s and
16 by 32s,
16 by 32s, and 16 by 16s. And I actually have a few customized. I have a 16 by 48, so I can match. And I also cut away one road base plate.
Cut it in half. Yeah,
cut in half. Yeah, because I was doing a city layout, and again, you're working with 48s by 48s, and you have all these streets that are 32 by 32, and sometimes you need that 16 by 32.
Yeah. Got it.
So
Did it. Got the t-shirt.
I packed away a few base plates. So
here's my
but I didn't went as
though.
far as Dave. I never drilled holes in my.
Here's my point of demarcation though. I have, because I was old enough, I have the 50 by 50s, and I had lots of them. Right. Ooh. I also had 48 by 48s because that's what happened afterwards. But I had probably at least a dozen 50 by 50s, and I would not touch them to cut them up, even though I'll never use them again. I wasn't going to cut them up because you can't get them again. Right.
Yeah. So it's but what you going to do with them, Dave?
Well, what happened was that I think it was halfway Brickfat 2000, whatever, the third or fourth one, and our friend Andre, who was into vintage Lego, the original 50s and 60s town sets that would appreciate the 50 by 50s. He said, Dave, you have all those? Yeah. And he said, what do you do with them? I said, they sit in the basement. They sit right here. He says, can I have them? I said, I don't need them. Here you go. So it was kind of a swap of 1-to-1 for a 50 for a 48. So because I can use 48s.
Yeah.
So we swapped, and I kept one 50 by 50 after that because I do want to be complete, whatever, if you can call it that. And then that was 6 or 7 years ago. And since then, I've acquired more lots, and I got 3 more 50 by 50s just by acquiring lots. So it's not like I'm going to build up my collection again.
I actually had a 50 by 50 once, but it was damaged.
Oh,
so, and I didn't mind because I told myself, well, if it's damaged, I'm just because I knew beforehand, before buying it, I knew it was damaged.
Right.
Because it was in the lot, and the guy said, well, it's damaged, and here's the damage. And I noticed that it wasn't damaged beyond 2 studs. So
right.
I said, well, I'm going to turn it into a 48 by 48, and that will be it. So
my originals from when I was a kid, the corners broke off. One corner, it was just odd. It seemed that each one of them I had 3 or 4 up until I started collecting full time. That my parents bought us when we were growing up, and over the years, and every one of those 3 or 4, there was one corner on each one that was broken off by the time I got to be an adult. It's like not one was broken, all 4 of them were broken, just one corner was broken off. It's like whatever.
So I have a question. Was there ever legitimately a trans clear 48 or larger plate?
Dave has one.
Because I acquired a non-Lego solution to that, and I always wondered, really? So there was.
Sort of see it through it.
And the reason I bought it was because I saw people light them up, and I go, I need this.
That's my son's 4th birthday. I still have it together. It's missing pieces, but we had the light behind it.
Right.
So I got these on eBay, basically when eBay started, and they were $40 each, or $40 each. So I get $80 for 2. So I got 2 of them.
And do you know where they came from, Dave?
No, I do not. It was eBay. Some guy is selling 2 for $40 each. So I grabbed.
But there's no set that came with.
There's nothing on Bricklink for them. There's nothing that maybe it's changed now, but I can't find them anywhere.
That's the thing. I know at the time, this was years ago. It's like, I couldn't find out if this was legit. I just didn't have the right circle of friends to ask. It's like, that's awesome.
I got the 16 by 16 that came with the set.
The mosaics.
Ago. Yeah, but I never saw a 48 by 48.
Rick, you can't feel bad. I'm gonna make everybody on this thread cry because pre-internet. Where is it? This guy. You'll recognize this as a 187 vehicle.
Yeah.
That says Lego on the bottom. Okay, I did not know these things existed until the internet, right?
Oh.
And I'm telling you. So I put an ad.
This is Dave's confession.
This is my confession. Hamilton Spectator, 1989. I put an ad in the paper. I'm 22 years old, or a little older. I put an ad in the paper. Wanted Lego, willing to pay $100. This retiree from Selkirk, which is on Lake Erie, he calls me up. He says, Dave, come on out, have 125 in your hand, and you can buy my Lego. I said, the ad says 100. It says, don't, Dave, listen to me. Come out with 125. I'll give you boxes of Lego. Okay, fine. I have my pickup truck. I drive out to Selkirk. Beautiful little spot, little cottage house. He says, my wife wants the shed back because it's we've been buying Legos at garage sales all these years. for the grandkids, and they didn't want it. So $125, and I'll give it to you. So he opens up his little shed, and the entire floor is boxes and boxes, cardboard boxes full of Lego. He said, dude, that's like a grand right there. He said, no, I promised you 125. I want 125. I'm not going to argue with you, dude. So I filled up the back bed of my pickup truck as the Dodge Dakota, filled it up, drove home. I start sorting out every time. Oh, it's a Hot Wheels. Chuck, garbage. Oh, it's a Matchbox. Chuck.
Oh.
And the rest of it was pure Lego. Everything else was Lego, including waffle plates. Right? So I know, I know that these were not Matchbox cars.
Oh.
I did not even think about it. How would I know, right? So I threw them all out, at least a half a dozen of them. That's right.
That hurts.
Then the internet
for
shows up.
everyone out there looking for those vintage Lego cars, Dave threw them out.
I threw them out, thinking they're Matchbox or Hot Wheels.
I was able to pick up at one of those, maybe it was Ancaster show or another show. Someone had Lego in a cardboard tube.
Yeah.
With his old 60s logo.
Yep.
I go, I don't even care if it's complete. This is such a unique piece. I gotta have it. But I can't imagine pitching those cars out.
I would, as the age, I had no idea. I had no concept of Lego before
internet.
1960. I had no idea. So
Wow.
I keep on convincing myself until this day that they were Matchbox, but I know they were Matchbox. and you mentioned the tube. So this is not the tube, but this is the big square ones that came out in the early 70s, late 60s. I mean, all the parts are inside, but they're really beat up, and the box is beat up. But I had to get it just because it's the box, right? So that's what you do. And that's the same reason why I got this guy, all the way from Italy. I didn't need it. I really didn't need it, but he had it on again. eBay, super special. It's just a parts pack from Italy.
Yeah,
it's an accessory pack with tires and wheels and connectors.
What's that paper on the inside? What's on?
That's just the what it's supposed to contain.
Really? Oh, look at that! Yeah. What a piece of history there.
Yeah, 1972. I was 5. So
I wasn't born yet.
Josh.
Yeah. 1 year before I was born.
So the interesting parts, they come up with the lights for the 2x4 clear brick, the 4.5 volt, and it came with a bunch of these early red lights from the 4.5 volt set. Wow! So
I think you need to build a mock and submit it to Lego Ideas specifically with those pieces.
I said if I'm building a mock for Lego Ideas, I'm putting trans yellow domes in it. That's I gotta. I'm putting as many
obsolete, long discontinued parts as possible. Here you go. Make this set, please.
Make this set, please. I gotta get 10,000 volts right off.
We're gonna watch as Lego takes it down in about half a second.
Could you imagine all the upvotes on that? Yes.
It's
oh my goodness.
I love the hobby. I'm not a collector, but when I come across something that I like, this is my corner of nostalgic, and this is why I know that they had the 187 cars in it. So this is what I got from the guy out there in Selkirk with the funky base plate and everything. And then I keep all my old Lego bricks on top that I acquired over the years, the ones with the slotted bricks and stuff, which are ones without the tubes in the bottom.
Oh, nice.
So, and then the slotted bricks, original. Oh, again, I have 2 or 3 of them, and I acquired them from friends who said, "Hey, Dave, you're a fan," and I happen to have this. So that was very sweet of them to give them to me. So I have like a history of Lego on top of this thing that goes from the oldest to the newest, with the side injection molding and all the other stuff. So, but I remember as a kid, and I never had a Dark Ages, which I think also saved me. I was always building Lego through high school and college. In my 20s, my apartment, I had my 2-bedroom apartment, one with Lego, and one was my bedroom. So it's like I've been very fortunate.
No, I went Dark Ages probably 84 until 2012.
Wow.
And it was a gifted set to me. A guy gave me a TIE Fighter set he knew I was a Star Wars guy. He didn't realize I loved Lego as a kid. That one TIE fighter he bought me.
I'm just saying, the Star Wars got a lot of people out of their dark ages very quickly.
Yeah, but
when Star Wars hit the market,
I saw the sets. I really did. I saw, 10, 12 years of these sets, and it's like, it's a toy. It's a kid's. I outgrew that.
Really?
Well, I went from Lego to, Star Wars action figures, G.I. Joes, some Transformers toys, and then girls. No more toys. Girls. But yeah, in 2012, my friend gifted me that one set. That was
actually kept my bricks even when I was a teenager. They were never that far, but almost like you, Rick, what got me back into Lego was actually in 1999 when Star Wars was released in Legos. There were Lego sets, and the worst part is, it's actually my wife, who was then my girlfriend, who gave me my first Star Wars Lego set back in 1999.
You were so lucky she did that to you.
Because I was a Star Wars fan, and she obviously,
because it's her fault. Like
Lego,
I love that.
So it's her fault. So every time she complains about, well, you have too much Lego, or well, why is there
no
Lego
such
in
thing
the
as too
living
much
room?
Lego.
It's all your fault, honey.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have given me those boxes all these years ago. So
it took me to find Sandy, because Sandy and I met at a Lego show.
Wow.
At one of my Lego shows back in the day. And because my previous girlfriends, they humored me on my hobby, because again, I never had a dark age. So there's never been one continuous month where I didn't touch Lego at any point in my life. And unlike Rick, who probably had girls interested in him back when he was younger, I was a Lego geek. I was a
I like to think my wife is still interested.
I was a Lego geek. I was a Star Trek geek. Like, girls did not pay any attention to me in high school at all. Like, I'll be the first to say I was the quintessential. The only thing I didn't have was the horn-rimmed glasses, because I didn't have to wear glasses. But Lego, Star Trek, Dungeons and Dragons, like, I was the geekiest geek you could ever think about geeking with. Like, so girls were not interested in me. So I had the Lego, and I had my friends. Then we, it wasn't until 25, basically 23, 25. Maybe I should start actually being interested in women. So,
dating somebody,
really. But then Sandy, like my friend Jeff, who runs the show, and he's not here today, set me up with his friend Sandy.
We don't speak of Jeff anymore. He won't be around anymore.
He's not here. He's nobody.
He's done.
Yvonne's here, so we like his sister more right now than we like Jeff.
Yeah. Yvonne, we like you.
We like you, Yvonne. But he brought Sandy to the Lego show, one of my shows back in the day. And then we met, and then we had a first date, and then we had a second date, and then we got married. But we met at a Lego show, and that just, I think, was the impetus for me being very, very interested in her, because she accepts my hobby. So, because I don't know what I would do if, somebody I was dating didn't accept my hobby.
Yeah, my wife humors me.
I've seen a few people in the hobby getting divorced over like spending too much on Lego.
Well, I do try to keep it in check, but right now, honestly, I have to downsize, because it is, for me, it's getting too big and too hard to maintain. So I have to figure out how to downsize. So that's me. Sandy's never told me to downsize this. She's actually talking about knocking out a wall and taking over the rest of the rec room. And I said, I don't want it to leave this space, because then it's hoarding.
Yeah.
then it's obsession. So I have to figure that out quickly.
See, that's almost the same with me. I don't have the big set like Rick has behind him, because I know I'm moderate myself. I'm not gonna spend like $400 on a Lego set when my wife won't spend $100 on a pair of sneakers. So
my wife will. There's a difference.
I get it.
I'm shocked. Ask your wife how much their bras cost, and all of a sudden, these sets don't seem too foolish.
I don't mind the bras costing a lot, because the bras are, never mind. Let's keep it going.
As long as I can,
right.
enjoy the bras.
It's a chef show. Let's keep it less than PG. We're gonna Jeff's gonna lose all his entire audience in one show.
Or we're going to gain a lot of audience.
We're gonna spike and drop. Oh my god!
That's us.
Sorry, Jeff.
Davism. That's
Davism.
retro-
Yeah.
that's
So this
retro
is back in the
term.
day. Ben's reminding me back in the day. I am a geek, and we used to have robot competitions, and I got an award for one. Look, one of my friends made this. Let's zoom that in. That's what you got if you won the what I can't remember which competition this was, but it was I don't think I have a picture here. I thought I had one. Callum would come up with these very, very officious rules for a robot competition. Like your robot couldn't be bigger than X, and you had to, whatever. I usually ignored the rules when it comes to size.
You cheated.
I wouldn't say
cheated.
cheat. I was just over-engineer. And I would build like an 18 by 18 robot. Now, this is back in the RCX days when RTL Toronto was doing nothing but robot competitions. And I'd always show up and I'd be competing against mechanical engineers, electric engineers, whatever. And the problem with engineers is they always, in my entire experience, overthink the plumbing.
Yeah.
They always do. And I subscribe very vehemently to the KISS policy of doing anything. And it's keep it very simple, stupid.
Yeah, keep it simple, stupid.
Keep it very simple. And I'd always win. So it's like, anyway, it was fun.
Yeah, because if you overcomplicate things on the inside, there's a lot more things that can go wrong.
I will say, I was very thoroughly vetted in the RCX. The NXT, I didn't care about as much because it became less of a brick building experience and more of a studless beam building experience, and I don't like building studless. And the EV3, I don't even have one, which is shocking to me, actually. You can build robots easier now, more quickly, and have them do stuff than with the RCX, because basically the RCX is just a brick, and you had to build everything in order for something to work.
And program it.
And program it.
Upload the program. And
all that over IR, which is always a great time. So I get the new stuff, but like even in my space layout, I just use RCXs and like 3 or 4 of them to do what I want to do, because I can, and I know how to use the RCX and download new firmware and blah, blah, blah. And I really appreciate that Lego has evolved the FLLs and the FRCs and all those guys to the newer and greater and more adaptable stuff for the kids, because I was a mentor for a school well back in the day, and the kids didn't know how to build anything strong. And even the first Technic car, this 853, they showed you a 1x4 Technic brick can go across 2 other Technic bricks to reinforce it so they don't come apart. Yep. And they didn't get that, the brick plate brick thing, and then you just reinforce it vertically. And it was like, I'm not a good teacher. Straight up, and I was just trying to show them this is how you can make it, because they would put a robot in the floor and it would just fall apart. It's like pieces would come off, and I'm going, you're going to be entering a competition with 100 other robots. You need it to stay together, and this isn't regular building. You have to understand architecture and forces and stuff like that. But the NXT, you didn't have to, because the studless beams with the friction pegs, you're done. You don't have to worry about it anymore.
Nope.
So. But I'm happy that with the boost and all this new stuff that's coming, and all the third-party stuff that's coming out now with the PF bricks and all that stuff. I haven't bought any of it, but I'm very intrigued by all of it. But I'm still building with RCXs. So it's like,
yeah, but that's what you have in your collection.
That's what I'm comfortable with, and I'm noticing more and more. And I agree with people who say I'm not evolving with my hobby here, because I am stuck in the 70s and 80s. Like, look at my room, stuck in the 70s and 80s. And everybody's like, when I built I didn't even build the Winnie the Pooh set. My wife did. I bought it for her. And I'm looking at it right now, and it's one of the most gorgeous sets I've ever seen in my life, period.
Yep.
It's absolutely gorgeous. And I'm going, I could never, if you gave me all the parts and pieces and all the time in the world, I could never build that. from scratch, just like we were talking about with the Lego Masters when they had to build a Lamborghini just by looking at it.
Yeah.
The 853 I could build with my eyes closed, right? I could build that just by feel, right? There's no way I'm building Winnie the Pooh or the Lamborghini, even the shell, by looking at it with the studless and all that other stuff. I think the last big Technic set I bought off the shelf was the 8448, the red supercar that had the convertible, which I loved. And it had stud and studless, and I was overwhelmed by building that.
Oh wow!
So I can't. No, I'm old school, and that's it.
You're making a point that's what I told other builders, that every once in a while, even if you're just into building your own thing and creating your own stuff, every once in a while you have to buy a new set.
Yeah.
And build it. Because if you want to keep with current parts usage, and what are the new techniques being used.
See, the techniques, that's a big one for me. I gotta, even if I don't like a set, I gotta try. I build it once. I mean, there's value in that, and then it's like I learned something from almost every set I touch.
Oh, for sure. Especially these days. Like I got Sesame Street for Christmas because I grew up in Sesame Street.
Yeah.
And I was amazed just by the windows. Like I was absolutely floored, and I guess
I haven't built it yet. And you struck a nerve with me when you talked about Winnie the Pooh, because I got it, and I can't remember what the gift with purchase was. I was so happy to get the set, get the gift with purchase, and then my wife goes, "I want to build that one."
Well, I bought it for her. I bought it for her.
Oh, she stole your thunder.
And I go, okay. I couldn't say no.
No, I bought it for her. It was her birthday present, or whatever it was, Christmas or birthday. And so her and Josh built it. And it's sitting right there, and it's gorgeous. And I got my Sesame Street up here. And but as far as new sets goes, there's Friends, Sesame Street, and Winnie the Pooh, and I think everything else predates 1989.
Well, you had your shuttle, Dave.
Well, I got the shuttle. I mean, that took me a long time to build, because I'm not used to building, although it is basically built plates up, but the front end, and like it was a fun build, and I will say it expanded my mind how to build, but I have to do a lot of that in order to get it, because I still build plates up, studs up all the way. So
when I ordered that shuttle, you're talking about the newest shuttle.
Yeah, the new shuttle.
Yeah.
When I saw someone posting that you could get some Canada printed pieces, I made sure I got that before I got the shuttle.
Okay.
Yeah.
I gotta have a Canada arm. I gotta have that.
Well,
I actually hooked him up with the Bricks and Space Facebook group, and I told Marc-André, because he's the one who printed those tubes with the Canada arm.
Oh, really?
Canada. Yeah. And I told him,
I didn't want to say who, because when I got him, he knows I was on YouTube. He says, "Don't say where you got."
Yeah, don't mention me. Yes,
oh,
but now we can mention.
And I told him, I told Marc-André, go to Bricks and Space Facebook group. They're a bunch of crazy guys. Money seems to be no object to them, and they're gonna spend a lot of money getting your tubes, and that's what they did. He sold out on his tubes like in 1 hour, and he ordered more tubes, printed more tubes. Those went out also, and it was just crazy. He said, and he said he made a lot of money, but it was crazy because all the orders, he used to make like 1 or 2 orders per week, and now he was getting 50 per day. So
that video where it arrived and it's like I showed it off, I probably had the most comments and stuff. Like people are like, "Where'd you get it?" This and that.
Right.
I'm not really supposed to say, but
here you know.
But if you kind of do a little search here, you'll find it.
If you kind of look in that direction.
Yeah.
And, well, we can talk about it, because actually you got a notice from Lego to take this stuff down. So.
Oh.
And I don't know I don't know where they got their info, or I don't know if somebody complained but
We can
And-
never have nice stuff.
You can never have, yeah. They ruin it for everybody.
but he thinks that it wasn't the Canada arm printing tube that got him, but probably the discover because he printed the Discovery logo
Text.
on the slope bricks
Sure.
Yeah.
that you got up front, and he printed those, and he thinks that's what got him in
How is that?
trouble with it.
How is that aerial or Belka? How is that proprietary? Like it's not. It just says Discovery. That's all it says.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's supposed probably it's like a trademark of NASA or something.
Okay,
I don't know,
doesn't matter.
but he believed that's what got him into
Oh, probably.
trouble with Lego. So because he didn't get any fuss over the Canada printed bricks. Who got
Well, I'm gonna
fuss
say
over
if they copyright our Canada flag, that's gonna be something.
Well, actually,
Actually,
the Canada flag, RCMP type stuff. Yeah, a lot of this stuff's protected.
oh really? I didn't know. Like I thought
Yeah.
I ripped off a Canada flag.
Yeah,
know.
it's funny because there's so many companies that do produce
Yeah.
flags and stuff, but yeah, there's
Oh.
and the Canada font, Canada spelled
Yeah,
out a certain way.
that's a nice font, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
always like a little
there
logo.
can be some blowback for people making money off of it, for sure.
Canada with the little flag up in the upper right hand corner. That's I always like that. That's what's on the Canada arm too. Yeah.
Because I got the tubes, and I've got the flag, and the Quebec one, the fleur de
Totally. Yeah.
fleur de lis, and there was a bunch of. I mean, I got what I could. I figured I better just get whatever is available because I may never see this again. And I was so pleased and tickled to get it. And I was going to make such a big deal out of it. And he says, no. Shh. Okay. There goes that idea.
Hey,
Yeah, but you can talk about the flags because Marc-André actually owns a flag shop in what's called the flag shop actually in Montreal, and it sells what his specialty is making flags, and he sells flags to
I have to.
governments and
Hold that there.
municipal offices, and so
No,
I think he
haven't.
actually
Oh, it's a
has
good
the
one.
right to produce flags, but
I'd love to see it.
I think if I can Google it, maybe I can do that.
I never seen the Indigenous Canada flag.
I can actually look it up. And if I come back over to here and share my screen again, see if I can actually. I'm doing stuff that whatever.
Usually Jeff does these
Usually Jeff
things,
does it, and we won't have to.
but now Dave is
Now I'm screwing it up. So here we go. Now, and we go here. Can you see that?
Wow, cool. That is really something.
Let's go back to this one. Yeah, I think like there's a few different prints here, and it's actually very, very beautiful. So
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go back over here where we get the zoom in, the infinity and beyond.
Sorry, I was asking my wife about it. A movie that she watched last night on Netflix or somewhere about the situation with the Indigenous people in the schools, and
Right.
not to bring us all down or anything, but
Yes.
it's like, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, it was an incredible movie and very balanced. I was actually surprised how well it was done. And she can't remember her name. It's something horse, and she's looking now.
I'm actually amazed that they haven't burnt down the country yet. Like it's just like I can't believe this would happen. And I remember hearing some stuff back when I was in grade school. We did some projects on it, but it was always the innocuous. Oh, we didn't treat them as good as we should have, and then life goes on, and blah blah.
Yeah.
And then all this time goes by, and all of a sudden you're digging up dead kids. I'm like, really? Like, come on. How can you? Anyway, it just makes you sick. Not to go down on that one. So really quick, I'm not going to show this thing off again, but so this is 5.5 feet tall from the top to the bottom, and the whole tower is bricks on top of bricks. There is no stud, snot. There's no nothing. It's just bricks all the way up. And
is there greeble?
Not too much greebling because I'm not good at that either. So people who actually look closely at the tower, they say, "Oh, that's kind of the basic build." Yes, it is. It's a very basic build.
Yeah, but it's so massive, Dave.
Yeah, hey, build big. That's what I always just build it big, and people, ooh, it's big.
So, you don't have any warping or sagging?
So I will say this. So again, because I know how to build with Technic, there's two layers of Technic beams going from this end to this end, and from this side, like they cross through the center. And so I was originally planning on putting reinforcing steel in the middle, but I didn't need to because the Technic beams with plates in between, brick, plate, brick, and the lighting pads are detachable because that's one thing that killed me before. Trying to transport that. And so these rings hold exactly one landing pad, so that rings just circles around the landing pad. And David also noticed this, is that one ring is exactly the same diameter as the inside of a monorail track loop. So you put four curves together, it perfectly fits this ring here, which is really cool, which is what I did there. So it's like, it has some coolness to it, but it's just like I was watching the show yesterday, and I know no spoilers, but one of the judges was saying to one of the kids there, one of the groups there, and said, "Well, your build is not as advanced building techniques as the rest of the guys, or as you've done before." And I'm going, she doesn't want to talk to me then at all. Because I'm going to show this. It's like brick, 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 brick. Oh, look, there's a tall tower. It's like, and I'm looking at what she was thinking as non-technical enough, and I'm going, I can't even do that, right? And because again, these kids are kids. Some of them I'm sure are older than me. These groups are very, very very, very huge fans of the brick who have had lots of experience building with the new stuff and new techniques and snot and all that stuff, greebling and all that things. And I'm going, and they can do it in 12 hours. Yeah, like that tower I started in 2008, and it's still changing it to this day. So it's like,
but I have to say, Dave, that I haven't seen Eureka was asking you about the any warping at all, and I've seen what you did for those landing plates to secure them in place. And you have to see it up close to really see that it's not going to warp at all.
And it's technical. I mean, there's some good technical.
It's all bricks and all Technic bricks, but it's like massive and really,
heavy,
really strong, and it's not gonna bend at all. So
there's a little like over a bunch of shows, and this is what I noticed. And so this is something, Rick. So the inspiration for the tower was a whole bunch of things, including the CN tower, because you can still see a little bit of CN tower in it. But Peter Reed years ago, he built a micro space station on a planet, and he posted on Lugnet. And I just fell in love with it. And I said to my head, somebody should build that thing in minifig scale.
Wow.
So that's where this came from. And also the one scene, and I am a Star Wars fan, not as much as a Star Trek fan, but I like Star Wars and I've seen them all. The one scene that really got me, because I was 10 when I saw Star Wars in the theater, 1977. I was in my teen years when Empire Strikes Back came out. And when the Millennium Falcon landed on that pad at and the Sky City there, Cloud City, and the pad was way out from the actual station, the building, and they had to walk across that little gantry. I said, that screamed to me space, because you have airports and you have huge asphalt strips and you have a lot of space and a lot of ground. But if you have like a landing pad that's holding the Millennium Falcon, strong enough to, and it's on this little outcropping off the huge space station. That to me screams space. And so I wanted to have the landing pads as far out from centralized as I possibly could. So I did a whole bunch of testing of how far out I could put it before it goes.
Yeah. Okay.
So that was a lot of work, a lot of rebuilding. And it's not that far out from the actual the space station proper, but it's far enough to give it the sense that it's out.
Yeah.
So that's all I had to do.
Oh, I mean, that thing was huge.
Yeah.
I probably took 100 photos of it when I first
Yeah?
saw it. Yeah.
I love it.
And of course, and you know, I know I got you in the video, like I had made 5 minutes of video or something, and I know I got you in there, but of course, like everyone else, we're trying not to get. You're trying to get the Lego because the Lego's the star, right?
Yeah, that's my whole thing. Like,
And the last thing anyone wants to say is, "Can you
move, please?" No, or get me out of the way.
Oh, look at this train going around it.
Looking. And this is one thing that this is what this does disappoint me about Lego Masters, because I'm looking at these builds yesterday and I'm going, that's cool. And then the scene cuts to something else. I'm going, like, I'm trying to figure out how they built it. I'm trying to figure out.
You want to see more. Yeah.
I want to see more of the actual builds, not just this overview of, you know, and this is why, but I get they're trying to make a show for everybody. Because 98% of the
I don't want to see the drama. I don't really want to see the interaction.
Well, that's the whole thing. But you're not going to show if you don't, and that's the whole thing. It's like watching The Bachelorette in Paradise, and then going, "Show me the beach," right?
Yeah.
Show me that meal because that meal looks great. No, you're not going to see that. You're going to see the drama, and so that's why
Mahi. What
that
are they?
beach house looks great. How was it built? Can we see it?
How did they put that? How did they put that bikini together? Like, let's see. Take it back.
But maybe
I want to see that
maybe
footage.
there's something that maybe there's something there. Maybe it's something they could do as like an extra or an add-on they could put on the website that says, well, wow.
That was a beautiful flag.
Yep.
Hang up the.
So maybe it's something the show can add to the actual show by doing the some add-ons or that would be available on their website or something.
Right.
Because if you want to see a build, maybe they could do a 10-minute video just showcasing the actual builds of the.
Yeah, I'm the most self-effacing person I know because I can't stand myself most days. It's like that was I always like to say I always point my limitations out first before I talk about how good stuff is. And like as I say, this whole thing is just brick on top of brick. And you look at some of the other builds that I've seen at Brickfat as well as other shows that are they're perfectly greebled. There's a lot of really interesting techniques in it. The one guy had the black lights. He made was it Exoforce? I can't remember now. It was a white tower. I think it was Exoforce, and he had the mechs around it. And I'm going, like, this was my idea for my space because I love the classic space sets. And since I was 12 when I got the 918, I wanted a place for my guys to live, to work, to blah blah blah. And so this was always in the back of my mind since I was 12 years old, and I finally got it built. And it turned out basically the way I wanted with the evolution and stuff. But then I look at other people's builds for Exoforce or the M-Tron that was, I can't remember which show in the States a couple of years back.
Yeah.
Where they had that huge loop.
Yeah.
Right? The huge train loop, monorail loop. And some of it was like, okay, yeah, just base plates. I get that. But some of the buildings were so cool. And then you had the magnet factory, that guy who built that magnet factory, and going, oh my god, just drooling, right? And then going, see, that's building to me for shows. And I say, like, I am a neophyte compared to all these guys. So, and I don't mind that because I have my style, and I've said this in my own YouTube chats. People have their specific styles, and I'm comfortable with mine, but I love everybody else's. So it's like, what are you gonna do? At least I have a hat. So we're almost well, over an hour and a half, which
Yeah.
is wow.
Jeff never suspected that.
We actually-
Dave
Jeff
neither.
who? Jeff who?
We actually had a chat because I said I would help them, and I said, what's going to happen is that people are going to be bored with me, and they're going to just like not be here, and we're going to be done at 9:30. So the fact that we got the 38.
You've done a good job in the captaincy.
Yeah, good job.
It was a lot of fun, and you guys made it fun. So I'm going to thank you guys. I'm going to thank everybody for being on the show. But I think Mr. Blue had to go. Yvonne definitely had to go. Sorry, Yvonne, I didn't say goodbye. Thanks, whoever's staying on the show for this long.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you, Dave.
Thanks, Rick.
Thank you guys
David.
for having me along.
Oh no, you're exemplary, and I love your backdrop. It's just my favorite thing ever.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm gonna change it mostly because I have to, because I probably need to go back to a library style setup as opposed to this beautiful picturesque style, because it takes up too much room this way. I gotta start turning boxes the other way again, because
Oh no.
We'll love that too.
because I'm limited 79 by 79 inches
Okay.
for the backlog, and
Right.
it's got to fit here. That or I got to put 2 shelves overhead, which I'm brainstorming that now.
Maybe one
Home
of our,
Depot, 3 times $24, and I can do it, and they'll do the cuts for me. And
these are all the Billy bookcases, and they're just fine. So
yeah, Billy, yeah,
Billy,
5
Billy,
Billies here.
Billy.
I love them.
Yeah, and it worked just fine because the Home Depot shoeboxes fit perfectly on them. Like there's no space between the four across. It was unbelievable how the whole thing came together.
It looks great.
So and it's again the way I want to organize, and it's all old stuff. So I have a little bin down there in the far corner with anything that's pink, blue, light sand green, whatever.
All the friends, all the elves,
Oh,
all the
colors
weird
Dave
city stuff.
Anything produced after 2002, it's over there.
Nice.
But thank you guys both for being on here. Thanks everybody who tuned in, and I think next week will be much more sane, and Jeff will be back.
Oh, no, Jeff will be back.
Jeff will be back, and I thank everybody for humoring me for this much. So everybody take care. I'm going to end the broadcast. Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.
I have to click it twice now. So yeah, this is me screwing up again.